Hey there. Welcome back to my channel. How are you doing today? I hope you're having an amazing, wonderful, fantastic day. I'm so happy, so grateful, so excited to have you here with me today. You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about something that I see happening all the time. Something that breaks my heart. Something that stops so many people from achieving their dreams. And I want to talk to you about it today. I see people who want to learn English. They really want it. They dream about it. They think about it all the time. They watch videos. They buy books. They download apps. They do everything except one thing. The most important thing. The thing that actually makes a difference. They don't speak. They don't open their mouths. They don't try. They don't practice. They just stay silent. And you know why? Because they're scared. Because they think they're not good enough. Because they think they need to be perfect before they can say a single word. And that makes me so sad. Because I know the truth. And the truth is that you don't need perfect English to start speaking. You don't need to know all the words. You don't need to understand all the grammar. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. You just need to start. That's it. That's the secret. That's the magic. Just start. Open your mouth. Say something. Anything. It doesn't matter if it's wrong. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. Just start. And today, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to explain why you don't need perfect English. I'm going to show you how simple English can change your life. I'm going to encourage you to take that first step. And I'm going to be with you every step of the way. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and let's get started. This is going to be a long conversation. A deep conversation. A conversation that I hope will change the way you think about learning English forever. Are you ready? Let's go. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something. What does perfect English even mean? Like really, what does it mean to you? Does it mean speaking without any accent? Because if that's the case, then almost nobody has perfect English. Even native speakers have different accents. People from London sound different from people from New York. People from Australia sound different from people from Canada. So who has the perfect accent? There is no such thing. Does it mean knowing every word in the dictionary? Because if that's the case, then nobody has perfect English. The English dictionary has over 500,000 words. Do you know anyone who knows all of them? I don't. Even professors, even writers, even poets. They don't know all the words. Nobody does. Does it mean using perfect grammar all the time? Because if that's the case, then almost nobody has perfect English. Even native speakers make grammar mistakes. They say me and my friend instead of my friend and I. They say I could have instead of I could have. They make mistakes all the time. And nobody cares. So if perfect English doesn't exist, why are you trying so hard to achieve it? Why are you putting so much pressure on yourself? Why are you letting this impossible standard stop you from speaking? Think about it. Really think about it. You're trying to achieve something that doesn't exist. You're trying to reach a goal that nobody has ever reached. You're comparing yourself to something that is not real. That's why I want you to let go of this idea of perfect English. I want you to free yourself from this burden. I want you to understand that you can speak English right now, with the words you know, with the grammar you understand, with the accent you have, and you will be understood. You will communicate. You will connect with people. And that's what really matters. Let me tell you a story. My story, because I think it will help you understand what I'm talking about. When I first started learning English, I knew almost nothing. I mean it. Nothing. I knew hello. I knew goodbye. I knew yes and no. Maybe a few more words. That was it. My vocabulary was tiny. My grammar was terrible. My pronunciation was a disaster, and you know what? I was scared. I was so scared. I was scared to speak. I was scared to make mistakes. I was scared that people would laugh at me. I was scared that people would think I was stupid. I was scared that I would never learn, so I stayed quiet. I didn't speak. I just listened. I watched, I read, I studied. But I didn't speak, because I thought I needed to know more before I could open my mouth. And you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. Because speaking is the most important part of learning. If you don't speak, you don't learn. It's that simple. So one day I made a decision. I decided to speak. Even though I was scared. Even though I knew I would make mistakes. Even though I knew I wouldn't be perfect. I decided to speak, and you know what happened? People understood me. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. And when they didn't understand me, they asked me to repeat. And I repeated. And I tried again. And again. And again, and slowly I got better. Not perfect, better. My vocabulary grew. My grammar improved. My pronunciation got clearer. My confidence got stronger. Because I spoke. Every day. No matter what, that's the secret. That's the magic. You don't need perfect English to start. You just need to start. And then you keep going. And you get better over time. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Mistakes are your friends. Mistakes are not your enemies. Mistakes are not something to be afraid of. Mistakes are actually the best teachers you will ever have. Think about it. When you make a mistake, you learn something. When you say a word wrong, your brain remembers the correct way. When you use the wrong grammar, you remember the right grammar next time. When someone corrects you, you never forget that lesson. That's how learning works. You try, you fail, you learn, you try again. That's the cycle. That's the process. That's how every single person on this planet has learned everything they know. You didn't learn to walk perfectly the first time. You fell, you got up. You fell again. You got up again, over and over until you could walk. The same thing happened when you learned to ride a bike. The same thing happened when you learned to write. The same thing happens when you learn a language. So why do you think English should be different? Why do you think you should learn English without making mistakes? That's impossible. That's not how it works. Embrace your mistakes. Celebrate them. Because every mistake is a step forward. Every mistake is a lesson learned. Every mistake brings you closer to fluency. Here's something I want you to understand. Simple English is powerful English. You don't need big, complicated words to say something meaningful. You don't need fancy vocabulary to make a point. You don't need to sound like a professor to be taken seriously. Some of the most powerful messages in history were said with very simple words. Let me give you some examples. I have a dream, that's Martin Luther King Jr., 3 simple words. But those 3 words changed the world. They inspired millions of people. They are remembered forever. And they are simple. To be or not to be, that's Shakespeare. 6 simple words. But those 6 words are some of the most famous words in history. They're simple. But they're powerful. I think, therefore I am. That's Descartes. 5 simple words. But those 5 words are the foundation of modern philosophy. Simple but powerful. I love you. 3 simple words. But those 3 words can change someone's life. They can make someone happy. They can heal a broken heart. Simple but powerful, do or do not. There is no try, that's Yoda. From Star Wars, simple words. But they motivate millions of people. They inspire people to take action. Simple but powerful, so you see. You don't need complex English to be powerful. You don't need difficult words to make a difference. You just need simple words spoken with confidence, spoken with meaning, spoken with heart. Let me explain this in more detail, because I think this is really important. When you use simple words, people understand you more easily. When you use complex words, people might get confused. When you use simple words, your message is clear. When you use complex words, your message might get lost. Think about it. When you're talking to someone, you want them to understand you, right? You don't want them to be confused. You don't want them to wonder what you're trying to say. You want them to get your message immediately. That's why simple words are better. They're clearer. They're more direct. They're easier to understand. They're more effective, and you know what? Native speakers use simple words most of the time. They don't walk around using big, complicated words. They say things like, let's go. Instead of, shall we proceed, they say, I'm hungry instead of, I'm experiencing a state of hunger. They say, I'm tired instead of, I'm experiencing fatigue. So, if you want to sound natural, use simple words. If you want to be understood, use simple words. If you want to communicate effectively, use simple words. And as you learn more, you can add more complex words. Gradually. Over time. But you don't need them right now. You can start with the words you know, and that's perfectly fine. I know what you might be thinking, but what if I don't know enough words? What if I can't make a complete sentence? What if people don't understand me? Let me tell you something. Starting is the most important thing. Once you start, everything else follows. Once you start, you learn. Once you start, you improve. Once you start, you grow. But if you never start, nothing happens. You stay stuck. You stay silent. You stay frustrated. You stay in the same place forever. So don't wait until you're ready. Don't wait until you know everything. Don't wait until you have perfect English, because that day will never come. There will always be more words to learn. There will always be more grammar to study. There will always be more to improve. The only way to get better is to start. So start today. Start now. Start with the words you know, even if it's just hello and goodbye, even if it's just yes and no, even if it's just a few words. Say something, anything. Open your mouth. Make a sound. Try to communicate. Try to connect. Try to speak. You might fail. That's okay. Try again. You might make mistakes. That's okay. Try again. You might not be understood. That's okay. Try again. Because every time you try, you get better. Every time you try, you learn. Every time you try, you grow. And one day you'll realize that you can speak, and you'll be amazed at how far you've come. Let me tell you something about what other people think, and I think this will help you feel less scared. Most people don't care about your mistakes. They really don't. They're not paying attention to your grammar. They're not judging your pronunciation. They're not counting your errors. They're paying attention to what you're saying. They're interested in your ideas. They're curious about your thoughts. They want to connect with you. They want to understand you. And if you make a mistake, they don't even notice. Or if they do notice, they don't care. They just want to communicate with you. Think about it. When you meet someone who speaks your language with an accent, do you judge them? Do you laugh at them? Do you criticize them? No, you don't. You're impressed. You're proud of them. You think they're brave for trying. And that's exactly how other people feel when you speak English. They're impressed. They're proud of you. They think you're brave. They respect you. So stop worrying about what other people think, because they're not thinking about you the way you think they are. They're not judging you. They're not laughing at you. They're not criticizing you. They're admiring you. They're supporting you. They're encouraging you. And even if there are a few people who do judge you, who cares? Those people aren't important. They're insecure. They're small-minded. They're not worth your time. Let me tell you something interesting. Children are the best language learners in the world. And you know why? Because they're not afraid. They're not worried about mistakes. They're not worried about being perfect. They just speak. Think about a baby learning to speak. A baby says mama and everyone is excited. A baby says dada and everyone celebrates. A baby makes a mistake and everyone thinks it's cute. And what does the baby do? The baby keeps speaking. The baby keeps trying. The baby doesn't stop because of a mistake. The baby just keeps going. You know what? That's exactly what you should do. You should be like a baby. Speak without fear. Speak without worrying about mistakes. Speak without worrying about being perfect. And just like a baby, you will improve over time. Your vocabulary will grow. Your grammar will improve. Your pronunciation will get clearer. Your confidence will get stronger, but only if you keep speaking. If you stop, you never improve. If you stay silent, you never grow. If you give up, you never learn, so be like a baby. Keep speaking. Keep trying. Keep learning. Let me tell you something about vocabulary. It grows naturally. You don't have to force it. You don't have to memorize thousands of words. You don't have to study word lists for hours. When you speak English, you encounter new words. You hear them in conversations. You see them in books. You notice them in movies. You learn them naturally. And you learn the words you actually need. Not random words from a list. Not words you'll never use. But words that are relevant to you. Words that you hear and see. Words that you need to communicate. That's the most effective way to learn vocabulary. Not by memorizing, but by encountering. Not by studying, but by using. Not by forcing, but by learning naturally. And the more you speak, the more words you encounter. The more words you encounter, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you can communicate. It's a beautiful cycle. It's a natural process. It's how language learning is supposed to work. So stop worrying about vocabulary. Stop obsessing over word lists. Start speaking. Start encountering. Start learning naturally. And your vocabulary will grow on its own. Here's something I want you to understand. Confidence doesn't come before you speak. Confidence comes from speaking. A lot of people think they need to be confident before they can speak. They think they need to be ready. They think they need to be sure of themselves, but that's not how it works. You can't become confident without speaking. You can't become confident without practicing. You can't become confident without trying. Confidence is built. It's not something you have. It's something you develop. And you develop it by speaking, by making mistakes, by learning, by growing, by facing your fears. Every time you speak, you become more confident. Every time you make a mistake and survive, you become more confident. Every time you try and succeed, you become more confident. So don't wait to be confident. Start speaking, and confidence will come. I promise you, I want you to imagine something. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Imagine yourself speaking English with confidence. Imagine yourself talking to people from different countries. Imagine yourself understanding movies without subtitles. Imagine yourself traveling the world without fear. Now imagine how you will feel. You'll feel proud. You'll feel accomplished. You'll feel free. You'll feel successful. You'll feel happy. And you know how you get there? By starting. By speaking, by trying, by making mistakes, by learning, by growing. If you start today, 1 year from now, you'll be somewhere incredible. If you don't start today, 1 year from now, you'll be in the same place you are now. The choice is yours. You can stay in the same place forever. Or you can start moving forward. You can start speaking. You can start learning. You can start changing your life. The best time to start is today. Right now. This very moment. Don't wait. Don't delay. Don't put it off. Start now. Let me say something. English is not for some people. English is not just for smart people. English is not just for young people. English is not just for people with a talent for languages. English is for everyone. It's for you. Yes, you. The person watching this video. The person who thinks they're not good enough. The person who thinks they're too old. The person who thinks they're not smart enough. The person who thinks they'll never learn. You are wrong. You are good enough. You are not too old. You are smart enough. You can learn. I believe in you. I really do. And I want you to believe in yourself too. Because you can do this. You really can. All you have to do is start. All you have to do is speak. All you have to do is try. And I promise you, you will succeed. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to learn everything in 1 day. You don't need to be fluent tomorrow. All you need to do is take small steps. Learn 1 new word every day. Practice 1 new sentence every day. Speak for 1 minute every day. Make 1 new connection every day. Small steps add up. They create big results. They lead to amazing achievements. They transform your life. So don't be overwhelmed. Don't be stressed. Don't be scared. Just take 1 small step, then another, then another. And before you know it, you'll have walked 1,000 miles. One more thing. You are not alone. There are millions of people learning English right now, just like you, struggling just like you, feeling scared just like you. They're on this journey with you. They're your brothers and sisters. They're your fellow learners. They're your community, and I'm with you too. I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. I'm encouraging you. I'm cheering you on, so don't feel alone. Don't feel isolated. Don't feel like you're the only one struggling. You're not. We're all in this together, and together we can learn. We can grow. We can succeed. So let me leave you with this. You don't need perfect English. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to be fluent tomorrow. All you need is to start. All you need is to speak. All you need is to try, and the rest will follow. I promise you, so start today. Start now. Open your mouth. Say something, anything, and begin your journey. You can do this. I believe in you. Good luck. If this video inspired you to start speaking English, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment below. What is 1 word you want to learn today? I'd love to know. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, you don't need perfect English. You just need to start. Bye for now. Take care.